Good evening and welcome to the Denver Radio Club Learning It for December 13th, 2023. Appreciate your patience there for just a moment. I was streaming on YouTube. It crashed, but it should be back up now, and I'll double check that here in a minute or so. But good evening and welcome. This is Daron, K1 DBC Net Control for the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Great place to learn about STEM and STEAM topics. Thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. I will be this evening's Net Control. This is normally around a 60-minute net. We might try to keep it around that time this week, but we're always happy to take your comments and questions. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. Both have a negative offset. You can contact us, Elmer at w0tx.org, and most social media at Denver Radio Club. Hopefully it's working. I'll double check it here in a minute, but youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. We do stream and archive our nets and meetings on there. This is K1 DBC Net Control. We're hearing a few key ups there. Just make sure you're not keying up the. This is K1 DBC Net Control. We're hearing a few key ups there. Just make sure. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Plenty of technical issues as always from my end, but this is K1 DBC Net Control. This net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there any emergency or priority traffic at this time? This is K1 DBC Net Control. You could follow along with who's checked into this net and past nets, w0tx.org/check-in. With that, all check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. That's the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics for the call sign and indicate if you have any traffic or questions as you do. You can follow, if your suffix begins with letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, A through M, please call now.
W0TX repeater.
0 Kilo Papa Sugar, Kevin, Lakewood, no traffic. This is Kilo Echo 0 Alpha Bravo, Cannon, Lakewood, no traffic.
November 0, Mike Tango Lima, Micah and Thornton, no traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Charlie Uniform, Hank in Aurora, no traffic.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Juliet Whiskey X-Ray, Ben in Lakewood, no traffic.
November 1, Golf Uniform Mike, Peter in Littleton.
Alpha Fox 0 Echo Alex Bromfield.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
No traffic.
Kilo Echo 0, Sierra Uniform Mike, Jonathan, Lakewood.
All right, this is Daron, K1 DBC. Hold up there for just a moment. I'd like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-ins. K0 KPS Kevin, Kilo Echo 0 Alpha Bravo Ken, N0 MTL Micah, KE0 CU Hank, KF0JWX Ben, N1GUM Peter, AF0E Alex, and KE0SUM Jonathan. Thank you all so much for checking in. I think there was someone else in there. It may have been Brian, KF0AWC, but if you did try to call in and I didn't call your call sign, go ahead and try once more.
It was KF0AWC, Brian.
All right, KF0AWC Brian, got you checked in. Thank you so much for checking in there. Once more, if your call suffix begins with the letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
November 0, Echo Yankee Zulu, Jim and Jeffco.
Kilo Foxtrot 0, Foxtrot Papa India, Ron and Lakewood, no traffic.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Hold up there for just a moment. That time we had N0EYZ Jim and KF0FPI Ron. Thank you both so much for checking in. We'll move down. We'll actually open up the whole alphabet. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. This is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. We're here to discuss ham radio and STEM topics in general. We have a lot of combined experience and expertise. So if you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic or questions or updates on past projects or anything you'd like to bring up, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now.
November 0, Tango Romeo Papa, Jim in Lakewood. Good evening.
This is Jerome, K1 DBC Net Control. We had a double there. Let's hold up there for just a moment. I think we had a KF0NAT Ben, potentially, and then KF0OAV Chet. Thank you both for checking in there. If there was any call corrections on anybody that just tried to call in there, go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. If you're ever interested in taking net control operations, a really good investment is a noise-canceling headset. It makes picking out some of those call signs a little bit easier. Hopefully, I'm getting things correct here. So if anybody has anything, let us know throughout the net. Once more, though, we'll take all call signs, all call suffixes. This is the Denver Radio Club Ham Learning Net. If you want to check in, let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I certainly have a few things I can bring up, but we have another 50 or so minutes. We'll probably try to keep it under an hour or so here for this Learning Net this evening, but I'll throw it out to the group. I think Kevin Schmidt, he didn't mention he had traffic, but he followed up offline with a story that we can bring up involving ham radio, and I'll also certainly bring up anything else. But any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else for this evening's net so far, let us know.
Comment?
I believe that was N0MTL Micah with a comment. The net is yours. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. I don't. It's not that big a deal, but the YouTube stream looks like it reset, so that dropped.
Thank you for that. Yes, it did. I was trying to do something within the streaming settings here within OBS Studio here, and something crashed. So I do apologize about that, but it should be up live here still at the moment. But I'll double check it. But yeah, I do apologize about that. But thanks for following up on that.
Okay, thank you. N0 MTL, clear.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I guess just very quickly on that, I was trying to use there's a pretty cool light bulb, basically, camera that I have a couple of, and it works for recording. It's very much like a Ring camera, doorbell, things like that, but it goes into a light bulb socket. So really cool stuff. It's a light bulb and camera built in one. So I'm using RTSP protocol to try to stream some of the video from my backyard, for example. So when I try to do that, it crashed the stream here. So a little bit technical behind the scenes on that. But yeah, this isn't product promotion or anything, but pretty interesting home tech is a outdoor bulb light with a built-in camera. So pretty cool stuff there. But yeah, crashed the stream here, unfortunately. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, is nearing on the end of the year here. Hopefully people have been able to purchase things throughout the year or learn some new things, and hopefully it's been a good year in ham radio for everyone, and electronics and learning and things like that. So we certainly have had a lot of people checking into this net and our other nets, and definitely checking in things with our club. So we really do appreciate, as the year winds down here, everybody's participation that you've always been able to give to our club. It really is you all that moves our club forward. So yeah, just want to thank you all for that. I'll throw it out to the group. We have 45 minutes or so. I wonder if anyone has any comments, questions, projects they like to bring up, anything, go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'll just talk about an article that was forwarded over to me by Kevin Schmidt, K0KPS. Hackaday.com is, as we've talked about, a pretty cool blog to read. This is on an article of a ham radio answering machine by Brian Cockfield on December 8th, 2023. Pretty interesting little setup here. A photo of a Bofang radio, and as I'll get into it, some of the more technology here. For those who grew up with a cell phone in their hand, it might be difficult to imagine a time where the phone wasn't fully integrated with voicemail. It sounds like a fantastical past, yet at one point, a separate machine needed to be attached to the phone to record messages if no one was home to answer. Not only that, but a third device, a cassette tape, was generally needed as a storage device to hold the messages. In many ways, we live in a much simpler world now, but in the amateur radio world, one group is looking to bring this esoteric technology to the airwaves. And a user, Save It for Parts, is demonstrating one as part of the beta test. Let me drop here. A couple more paragraphs here. The device is called a Boondock Echo, and at its core, it's an ESP32, very similar to Arduino, but has built-in Wi-Fi. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. It has an audio interface, which is capable of connecting to a radio. Given the correct patch cable, in this case with a simple Bofang handheld unit, the answering machine can record any sounds that come in. However, with a network connection, the recordings are analyzed with an AI, which can transcribe what it hears and even listen for specific call signs. That's interesting. And then take actions such as sending emails when it hears triggers like that, certain call signs. So while an answering machine might seem like a step backwards technologically, an answering machine like this, especially when paired with Google Voice-like capabilities, has a lot of promise for ham radio operators. Even during this test, they lost a radio, and a stranger keyed it up when it was found, which was recorded by the Boondock Echo and used to eventually recover the radio. So there's a lot of other devices out there, but a pretty interesting project here. So thanks to Kevin for bringing that to the attention here.
SUM question.
KE0SUM, Jonathan, go ahead.
You mentioned Arduino, and I've looked at them for a number of years, but I wondered how many people use them and what applications they're using them for. I have an electronics degree. I believe the idea was to teach you some electronics, but I'm not sure quite what the applications are. I didn't delve quite that far in.
Great question there.
A0 GPA late check-in, Bob in Lakewood, snowy Lakewood again. I got an answer for you, Jonathan.
All right, K0 GPA, Bob, thanks for checking in there, and yeah, I'll provide my answer here in a minute. But Bob, go right ahead. The net is yours.
Go on YouTube and look up Jason KM4ACK, and he has a lot of videos on things that people use them for. I've been subscribing to him for quite a while. He uses them for a little bit of everything. Anyways, Kilo Mike 4 Alpha Charlie Kilo, and his name is Jason. I think he's in Florida or somewhere. Yeah, I think it's Florida. K0 GPA.
All right, Bob, GPA, thank you for your follow-up there on that. Yeah, great. I believe he's given us a presentation in the past at KM4 ACK, so looks like he might have some pretty good information about single-board computers and microcontrollers, things like that, and what that is. I'll try to find that. But KM4 ACK looks like a pretty good resource on that. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Very much like the Raspberry Pi, but it's a lot more centered on product development, hardware development, and kind of a little bit of the commercial aspect. You'll find a lot of Arduino and Arduino-based products out in consumer electronics, ARM Cortex processors, things in our cell phones, things in a lot of the consumer electronics that we have are based on essentially this, and it goes back to probably some open source, some things that they can, basic stamp controllers, things like that. So very much like how the Raspberry Pi you can use for some fairly complex projects. It's similar to that in that it's a lot more integrated hardware. Let me drop for a moment. Arduino.cc. If you look up a little bit of the history of Arduino, there's it's Italian-based, but it's some fissures here and there. But basically, Arduino.cc and ProjectHub.arduino.cc shows some pretty good projects of things that you could work on and make and do with Arduinos and things like that. So. Yeah, it's basically Internet of Things really is what powers Arduino, and Arduino variants really has what powered the Internet of Things revolution. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. All right, everything like any of the smart devices in your home that you may have or things like that, they have Arduino kind of variants built into them. Your Alexas, your Google Homes, all those sorts of things. So, but again, temperature monitoring, monitoring sensors, any sort of electronics projects that you might have thought of working with on a Raspberry Pi, you can do it with a lot more cost-based, cheaper with a Arduino. So hopefully that might answer a little bit your question there, Jonathan. SUM, I'll throw it out to you or anyone else on Arduino programming or anything like that. Go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
Alpha Echo 0 Romeo Kilo.
All right, AE0RK, Fred, go right ahead.
Thanks. Obviously late checking in. I may have been part of that double earlier. But specifically on the Arduino front, there is an open source, well, maybe not open source, but open source hardware radio called the True SDX that's Arduino based. And I built one. I'm not sure I'd recommend it for a high performing radio. It's a little QRP radio. But it is interesting what they accomplished with a meager Arduino, which is just an 8-bit processor. So it's a very cool ham-related Arduino project. AE0RK, back to the net.
All right, absolutely. Thanks for that. AE0RK got you checked in. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of QRP-based projects, things like that, that are Arduino surrounded. So very cool stuff there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Another great, very similar to this, Autodesk's Tinkercad, free product. You can basically set up simulations for Arduino-based projects. So and there's a lot of projects that are on there that you can basically run the simulator and run through the project. And if you want to do some breadboarding, it shows a really easy way to do that. So again, Tinkercad by Autodesk in their circuits simulator. So really cool stuff there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We have another 35 or so minutes. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, anything you like to throw out to the group here? Let us know. Please call now. All right, this is Daron, K1 DBC Net Control. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. So Arduino's kind of a single board microcontrollers, kits for building digital devices, hardware projects are licensed under a CC by BYSA license. Basically, you'll see a lot of Arduino projects floating around, whether you know it or not. So a lot of stuff is based on ARM Cortex projects, and if you can learn how to program on Arduino, you might be able to get into some software development, potentially a career in that. So pretty cool stuff there. Yeah, I'll throw it out. We have plenty of time here. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins so far? Please call now.
GPA comment?
Yeah, GPA with the comment. Go ahead.
I'm on it. I scan the repeaters during the day, and I hear a lot more people using Raspberry Pis than Arduinos. I think they're maybe cheaper, and I think they got new versions of them out too. And a lot of them use them for what do they call it? Hotspots for getting on digital radios and that. I guess you can make a hotspot, and when you're going down the road, wherever you are, you can usually get into the internet. And I was listening a couple the other day. They said they had like 80 of them, or 8? No, I think it was 8. 8 of them going at the same time. K0 GPA.
All right, GPA, Bob, great comment on there. Historically, the Arduinos were cheaper because they didn't have... So basically, a Raspberry Pi is a full-blown Ubuntu Linux operating system that you can have a GUI to and things like that. So it makes it a lot easier for newcomers or anyone that doesn't have command line experience. Historically, though, Arduinos, because they don't have that sort of interface, have been a lot cheaper, and they still are probably a lot cheaper. But things like the Raspberry Pi Micro, Pico, and things like that, for some of the projects we're working on, like you mentioned there, PiStar, for example, is a pretty cool project you can run for fairly cheaply. So, yeah, it kind of just depends on what your needs are and wants are. Arduinos, let me drop here once more. Generally, if you're building out a product for mass production or for some wholesale retail purposes, to keep your bill of sales or bill of materials down, costs down, you would use some of these cheaper parts. But Raspberry Pis for a lot of our projects work a very good treat, and they're have networking built into them and Bluetooth and things like that. That you might have to buy some add-on boards for some of the other things. So whatever floats your boat. There's a lot of options out there for everyone in the microcontroller market.
OAV, comment.
I think that was Chet, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Oscar Alpha Victor, OAV. Go right ahead.
Yes, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Oscar Alpha Victor. Chet, I've used the Raspberry Pi to make a number of motion detecting cameras that are Wi-Fi enabled. Made a case for them with a 3D printer. Worked great. The only problem was they're hard to waterproof when you have them outside, but ran Motion iOS on them, and it was a fun project. Wavy out.
Very cool stuff there. Yeah, some of the more computationally intensive work seems to be able to be done on Raspberry Pis nowadays, and it's very cool stuff there. Motion detection and computer vision, things like that. So yeah, a lot of use cases. They'll probably get probably more bang for your buck, really, with a Raspberry Pi as a consumer. You'll get a lot more features on it. So yeah, if you're looking to do something on the cheap, or if you already have it laying around, an Arduino might fit a case. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff out there. And as we've probably discussed in the past, the with the recent let me drop here for a moment. Recent pandemic and parts shortage and supply chain shortage like that, it's thrown some people into areas where they need to buy different products and things like that. But hopefully things are starting to even out, where you can buy things either online or in store at a Micro Center or something like that. So this is K1DBC Grit Net Control. Great question there. Anyone else on that topic, microcontrollers or anything like that? Go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control.
W0TX repeater.
To very quickly just kind of extrapolate on the thought of hardware, FPGA is a step above a field programmable gate array. It basically allows you to do a lot more in software that you needed different hardware for. So just another step above some of the products we're using. But FPGAs are kind of a little bit how software-defined radio works a little bit, potentially, in that some of the things we needed to use for to do certain things with different radios, we needed different hardware. We can do it with a little cheap dongle. FPGA or ASIC is just kind of another field out there. So yeah, if anybody's ever interested, there's a lot of cool stuff there on embedded programming and microprocessors, and yeah, really cool stuff. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Any other comments, questions, check-ins for this evening's net so far? Let us know. Otherwise, I can bring up some things, or I'll throw it back out to the group here for any further comments or questions. Anything else so far? Please go there.
WD0CIV, WD0CIV, Charles and Denver, no traffic.
Sorry for not checking the comments here on YouTube. Got you checked in, YR, and yeah, got you checked in on over the air, Fred. This is K1DBC Net Control. There may have been a double there, or there definitely was a double there. We had WD0CIV Charles, and then there was AE0YR checking in online. It may have been also him checking in over the air. If anyone else was trying to check in there, go right ahead again. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out another, or at this point, I'll take a check-ins officially. If you're just tuning in, this is K1DBC Net Control. This is the W0TX Denver Radio Club Learning Net. It's a great place to learn about ham radio STEM topics. We have plenty of combined experience and expertise, so we definitely appreciate everybody who's been able to check in and provide some assistance in some Elmering aspect, if you like. W0tx.org for more information on our club, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. At this point, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. Let us know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Okay, gotcha. Ed, yeah, gotcha. Checked in there. Not a problem. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Very quickly, Clever Club Business. W0tx.org, our upcoming holiday meeting next week. I have not updated the website on the meeting topic. I do apologize about that, but it'll be on Edge of Space Sciences. Pretty cool stuff there. Yesterday was the last date to get prepaid advance reservations. So yeah, hopefully we'll see y'all out there and just have some congenial times and yeah, just have some fun there. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I have a few stories, topics, articles that I can bring up, but I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins so far for this evening's net? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control.
SUM question.
SUM, Jonathan, go right ahead.
Well, there's quite a group of us here tonight, and people have a lot more experience than I do, but I read and hear the term about having a random wire antenna. I'm guessing it's some length of wire probably hooked up to a balun, but I wonder if anybody could explain it a little better to me. If there's a right length or wrong length, when it says random wire, I'm like, what's that really mean? KE0SUM, back to net.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, what is a random wire antenna? We definitely talk about that quite a lot. I'll throw it out to the group. Anyone else want to follow up on that? Go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I'll just be reading off of a couple of pages that I found here. A random wire antenna is an end-fed antenna. As typically installed, it is counterpoise. It is a counterpoise antenna, but great for portable use because it is easy to pack and easy to install. One end goes straight into the rig, often with no feed line, and the other end in the air, attached to something as high as you can find. It's important to use a counterpoise. A standard recommendation is 84-foot long end fed and a 17-foot long counterpoise. These lengths have been shown to work on many bands. It's helpful if you're in a hurry. You can read up on more information on the ARL random wire page as well.
Thanks, Jerome. I'll look that up. 84 feet. Okay, it's long with a counterpoise. What bands is it resolution on then?
This is K1 DBC Net Control. Let me see. This example here that I was just giving for that was a 17-foot long counterpoise. I don't see the exact bands here. Maybe 40 through 15. But I don't have some better information on that. I can read out some ARL information here, but I'll throw it out to you or anyone else on that at the moment. Go right ahead.
Well, I find it interesting because I run a 66-foot antenna, end-fed, and no counterpoise, and of course it's resonant on 20 and 40, but I'm not, for some reason I don't know why it's not resonant on 10 very much, but I don't use a counterpoise. Maybe that's my problem, but that's a long piece of random wire to be setting up. Interesting. Thanks.
RK.
right, this is K1DBC Net Control. What I had read there was from the University of Delaware website on random wire length. I read just a very few bits there. There's probably a lot more in there. AE0RK, go ahead. The net is yours.
Hey, yeah, just a couple notes on the end-fed half-wave. At 84 feet, and this is on that site that you referenced, Tyrone. 84 foot would be low SWR on 80, 40, 30, 20, 17, 15, 12, and 10. But I believe that it is not resonant. I think an end-fed half-wave is a non-resonant antenna, and you're using the balun to kind of match to get a low SWR on the non-resonant frequencies of the antenna, rather than using it like a dipole and having actively using the resonant frequencies to transmit and receive. So there is that little bit of a difference. So it will be less efficient, but it gives you access to far more bands than you would normally have on a resonant dipole.
Excellent. Thanks there, Fred. AE0RK. Thanks for that explanation there. I do appreciate that. Yeah, it helps concrete a little bit better in my mind there. So I'll throw it out to anyone else, Jonathan or anyone else on that. Go right ahead.
So, is the specific reason you just mentioned you cover far more bands? Is that the idea? You're needing this so you capture a lot of bands with that particular setup? KE0SUM back to that.
This is AE0RK. Yeah, that is my understanding. Typically you get far more bands and not just the odd or all harmonics that you would get with any variation of a dipole.
All right, perfect. Thanks there for the follow-up on that, RK. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. Let's see, I'll just read out another article here from ARL. Maybe this will help others understand if you're missing it, because I seem to be missing it still somehow. But arl.org/random-wires, it is exactly that, a piece of wire that is long as you can possibly make it. One end, again, attaches the tree or the support at high point. The other connects to the random wire connector on a suitable antenna tuner. You apply a little RF and adjust the antenna tuner to achieve the lowest SWR. And that's all about there is to it. They seem simple. Only catch is the antenna tuner may not be able to find a match on every band. The shorter the wire, the fewer the bands you'll be able to use. Let me see once more here. Let me drop for a moment. So you're connecting the antenna directly to your antenna tuner. Yes, you're bringing the radiating portion of the antenna right into the room with you. If you're running in the neighborhood of 100 watts, you could find that your surroundings may become rather hot RF-wise, that is. Random wires are fine for low powering operating. However, especially in situations where you can't set up a vertical, dipole, or other outside antenna. They go on to say a counterpoise is simply a long insulated wire that attaches to the ground connection of your antenna tuner. Best counterpoise is quarter wavelength at the lowest frequency you intend to use. Yeah, that's about it. The counterpoise X is the other terminal of your antenna system, effectively balancing it from an electrical standpoint. So arl.org/random-wires. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, yep. Random wires require antenna tuners. Antennas like the G5RV, NFED half waves, I believe, don't require an antenna tuner. But that might be something else to check into as well. So very cool stuff there on random wires. Jonathan or anyone else, random wire antennas, go right ahead.
GPA.
Yeah, K0 GPA, Bob, go ahead.
Here, most people use them because they can use a tuner inside their radio, because most radios, your tuners only can tune 3 to 1, and if you get just the right length, a lot of times it'll fall around that SWR. And a G5RV is a non-resident antenna also, and that's kind of the same principle behind that. You use a tuner because it's non-resident, but you can tune it with a tuner most of the time. If you get it up, I think you have to have at least 35 feet of 450 ohm coax, or not coax, what do you call it, ladder line. And I think they use a balun with them too. I haven't looked at them in a long time. Yeah, I think they use like a 4 to 1 with them. K0 GPA.
All right, thanks for the correction there, GPA, Bob. Yeah, I do appreciate that. So it still does require a tuner in that case as well. So thanks so much on that. And yeah, anyone else on that, go right ahead. All right, very cool stuff there. Yeah, pretty good conversation. Can't believe it's we've gotten throughout this net talking this long on this subject. But very cool stuff here. Yeah, very cool. Anyone else on that? Go right ahead.
Comment, SUM.
Yeah, Jonathan, go ahead with the comment.
Well, I love talking ham radio and people about it. It makes me think of another ham radio question. So, well, I asked the group, and Bob, you see, mostly when I go out and do HF, I'm not using a horizontal wire. I'm using vertical antennas. Usually, of course, telescopic. But then I can cover, I've got a chameleon set up, 17-foot whip that I can straight up without anything. It's good at 20 meters, but then I can shift that up and down, so I can cover most of the bands that way. Anybody have any thoughts? SUM backing up.
All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, I have not much information on that, but I'll throw it out to the group. Yeah, anyone else on that question there, go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Yeah, I don't know. If you have anything else on that, Jonathan, go right ahead.
W0TX repeater.
Well, like I said, with Chameleon Impasse 2, you can set it up more than the way I just described. I use it vertically and with a long whip, and it comes with their transformer down below, but you can set it up on top of your car with a mag mount, or you can do a tripod. But I'm pretty sure I can tune pretty much 10 through 40. I don't think it'll do 80. But I also use a Wolf River coil vertical, and now that one, of course, you're using the coil, you're tuning with the coil, and that will do 10 through 80, I believe. But I know you're getting noisier, you're catching more noise with a vertical, but they're so easy to use.
Very cool. Yeah, I think we may have talked about this before too. Oh, we probably have. But this is K1DBC Net Control. I think maybe it was Brian KF0AWC during one of the DRC Saturday events. I think brought out something like that coil antenna potentially, and we were comparing that to somebody else's antenna of the. I can't remember which one it was, but the ease of use with some of the river coil, as an example, proved to be pretty good in terms of setup. So yeah. Anyone else on that? Go right ahead.
This is KF0AWC. It was a super antenna that I brought out and demonstrated. It did 10 through 40, and then you could add on, which I haven't purchased yet, another coil to go on top for a 80 meters. But that super antenna, I use it all the time. It's a great little antenna.
That's what it was, the super antenna. Yeah, it looks fairly similar probably. So yeah, pretty cool kind of tripod setup, and then just adjusting this coil for the different bands. So yeah, much easier setup and use, and he had a HF rig and was operating on different bands and things like that. So much easier use with a kind of a coil antenna, as you might mention there, Jonathan. But yeah, a lot of cool options out there. Chameleon, Impasse, if you're looking for a lot of different options out there and whatnot. So yeah, this is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out to you or anyone else on that. Go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. We had Bob checking on the line, W4MBG, and then Ed Reed also had another question. If you want to jump in there, Ed, go right ahead.
Thanks, Tyrone. I have a question on antenna switches. It is my understanding that if you have an antenna farm and a transceiver, you can switch out, say, from your wire antenna to your vertical simply by throwing a switch. But my question is, if you only had one antenna but multiple transceivers, could you also use an antenna switch just to switch over a radio onto the one antenna?
K1. This is K1DBC Net Control. I'll throw it out there. I'll come back here in a minute. I don't see if I was doubling over on anyone. But YR, good question there. Using an antenna switch for one antenna, multiple transceivers. Anyone on that? Go right ahead.
This is AWC again. I have an antenna switch. I use it in reverse, so I have two different transceivers and one antenna. So if I want to listen to my 705, I just turn the switch to that antenna, and if I go to the 7300, then I just flip the switch over to that other antenna. But I always make sure that the radios are off before I switch them.
Well, you see, you have to realize it's just a switch. It doesn't care, so you can set them up quite a few ways. There's nothing in there except a switching mechanism.
Very cool follow-up, both of you there. I really do appreciate that. YR, if you have any other follow-up on that, go right ahead.
No, I appreciate that input. I'm looking at some changes to my shack, and I may end up with one transceiver that's powered through a power source, but like, for example, the one I'm talking on is off the grid. It's just battery powered, so I may end up with an off-the-grid transceiver and an on-the-grid transceiver, and then be able to switch back and forth. I haven't done it yet, but I appreciate all these comments because I was checking before I pulled the trigger on this.
Very cool stuff there. I know we were trying to do something with our club, something similar to that, but from a field day perspective and HF operations and using one antenna actively on 3 different radios. Well, I forgot the exact technical specs on that, but yeah, if you're only doing one radio at a time, that seems like a pretty cool, kind of elegant solution to that. Very cool stuff there.
Actually, it's more fun to use the switch the other way. I prefer having numerous antennas to check out and maybe only one transceiver. KE0 issue. Back to that.
Cool stuff there. And then our club was using a combination of band pass filters and a triplexer in combination to work multiple bands at the same time using one antenna and multiple transceivers. So that was a solution we'll be seeing at our upcoming field days and some of our upcoming events here. So anyone else on that or anything else? So we have another 5 or 10 minutes or so here, 8:28 p.m. Anyone else? Go right ahead.
What frequencies was your triplexer were you using with the triplexer?
Let me see if I can find that. We have a pretty cool running inventory here. Give me just one more moment here. Triplexer that we purchased, I believe, is the VA6AM, purchased by Mark N0XRX. Let me see if I can find a little bit more information on that. Victor Alpha 6 Alpha Mike. Looks like it can be purchased over on their website, va6am.com. Mark N0XRX has done a lot of the putting together of this project, so I forget, I don't know exactly which model it is that he had purchased, but it's by that call sign VA6AM, and in combination with some diplexers, 160 through 40 meters and then 20 through 10 meters, we can operate multiple bands using one antenna and multiple transceivers. So hopefully that answers a little bit of your question there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. All right, the club does have a lot of equipment. This is an inventory from July of this year. And we have a lot of hardware and things like that we have at some of our club members' sites and things like that are available for use and that are in use at our active repeater sites, things like that. So if anybody ever has any questions, we can try to follow up with some of the technical information about of our equipment. All right, it is 8:31 p.m. Mountain Time. I can bring up a couple more things, but we might start to wrap things up. Anyone else? Any other comments, questions, check-ins, anything else so far for this evening's net? Please call now. All right, a couple things I can bring up here. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I guess first article here, again, hackaday.com. 14 shambling 5G flaws used for disruptive attacks on smartphones. Very quickly here, written by Maya Posh on December 13th. A team of researchers from the Asset Research Group in Singapore have published the details of collection of vulnerabilities in the 5th generation mobile communications systems, 5G, used with smartphone and other devices. Their detail in a proof of concept using a software-defined radio and available software on GitHub involves creating a malicious 5G base station, which nearby 5G modems will seek to communicate with only for these vulnerabilities to be exploited to the point where a hard reset of the device may be needed. So, as technology gains, as we get into a more modern technology, it's good to see there's security researchers looking into this. So, 14 shambling 5G flaws used for disruptive attacks on smartphones. This is K1 DBC Net Control. A story that we talked about again from that same website, hackaday.com, but maybe back in July on the Tetra protocol. Very similar to DMR brand, or it's kind of an earlier radio trunked system in Europe. European version of trunked radio, similar to P25, APCO 25, which is actively used here in the United States for public safety agencies. There was basically a vulnerability found that some of their security encryptions really weren't up to snuff built into some of the hardware. So within the last couple of months, basically they have open sourced their software. Let me see if I can find that story. Let's see, the ETSI, European Telecommunications Standard Institute, may open source the proprietary encryption algorithms used to secure radio communications after a public backlash over security flaws over the summer. So the algorithm is discussing whether to make public. Its consensus hasn't been reached, but basically because it can be easily, there's not enough encryption built into it, they basically are going to open it up for the community, and hopefully they've fixed the vulnerability, but basically some pretty interesting stuff here. So more information on that. Let's see, at register.com, I'm seeing here, Europe Mole's open sourcing Tetra emergency services encryption algorithms. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Last story here that I'll pass, and I'll bring it back out to the net. Just as they say, ground is ground the world around. Waves also, whether it be radio waves or waves in an ocean, they all behave kind of the same way. So in terms of impedance, reflection, standing wave ratio, it all kind of operates the same way. So I'm just playing a quick video here from AT&T Tech Channel. This is a film from Bell Labs from the quite old here. I forget the exact date here, but archive of showing how waves work. Let me drop here for a moment. Video description here. On an elementary conceptual level, this film reflects the multifaceted scientific hyperthinking that was typical of a Bell Labs approach. Dr. J.N. Shives presents a lecture is excellent. It's understandable by a layperson even when he branches into equations because he uses copious amounts of real-world examples to bolster the material. Shives' role at Bell Labs was more than just a great lecturer. He worked on early transistor technology, inventing the phototransistor in 1950. A machine he uses in the film is the invention now called the Shive wave machine in the college classrooms. In relation to that, I saw a story over on ScienceAlert.com about a gigantic wave in the Pacific Oceans was the most extreme rogue wave on record. This is written on December 11th by Carly Casella. In November of 2020, a freak wave came out of the blue, lifting a lonesome buoy off the coast of British Columbia, 17.6 meters high, 58 feet. A 4-story wall of water was finally confirmed in February 2020 as the most extreme rogue wave recorded at the time. Such an exceptional event is thought to occur only once every 1,300 years, and unless the buoy had been there taking ride, we might not know about it. So, pretty interesting, and would like to see how maybe and how our tidal oceans work and things like that, and how all that all relates with our moon and lunar cycles and things like that. So this is K1 DBC Net Controlled. I'll throw it out to the group. Any other comments, questions, check-ins for this evening's net? Please go on
there. FPI.
KF0, FPI, Ron, go right ahead.
Yeah, just a reminder out to the group listening on the net tonight. Ken, KE0AB, and myself, KF0FPI, we're planning on meeting up at Valley Inn next Wednesday on the 20th at 8:30. To have a lunch and they chat about anything we end up chatting about. I just wanted to throw a reminder out to the guys in case they forgot.
Very cool stuff there, Ken. Ron, KF0FPI, I really appreciate that. The Valley Inn in Lakewood, 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday. Yeah, it'd be cool to have some meetups there. So very cool stuff there.
W0TX repeater.
Alpha Bravo.
Alpha Bravo, go right ahead.
I think we've been meeting up at 11:30, Ron.
Oh my goodness, did I say? I meant to say 11:30. Wow, what did I say? Maybe I need to unplug my mic.
No problem at all. I heard at least 8:30, but I got 11:30 copied on that. 11:30 seems a little bit more reasonable time, so appreciate that. Thank you. All right, very cool stuff there. I'll see if I can bring up any other last minute things here, but it is 8:40. I said I wanted to keep this around an hour or so, but anyone else at the moment I'll throw it back out to the group. Any other comments, questions, check-ins? Let us know. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. All right, let me see if I have any other last minute things here, and then we'll start to wrap things up here. All right, this is K1DBC. A fairly interesting thing to note here. Very much like we have CW trainers teaching us Morse code and learning Morse code from different aspects. It's a pretty cool project here called BrailleBot. It's basically just a cube with 6 dots on the top, and probably an Arduino or a variant of that is inside of it, and it's a help to use to learn Braille. So if you're ever wanting something that can very much like a CW or Morse code trainer give you some output in terms of the Braille code on top, you can read it, and then your input is also detected as well. So a pretty cool project here if you're ever wanting to learn Braille. There's a pretty cool project here, BrailleBot. This is over on hackaday.io by Mukesh Sankla. All right, in their words here, very own Braille language trainer. It's a special project designed to make learning the Braille alphabet not only easy, but also very fun, especially for kids who are visually impaired. Imagine having a personal Braille tutor right at your fingertips. What makes BrailleBot even more amazing is that it won't break the bank. It's a budget-friendly option coming in on just around $100. So a really cool tool crafted to teach the Braille alphabet from alpha A through Z. So really, really cool project there. All right, this is K1DBC Net Control. I could probably keep bringing up things all day, all night here, but really do appreciate, again, everyone checking in here throughout the year. YouTube.com/Denver Radio Club. We've been running nets on there for about 2-3 years now. It was first on my YouTube channel, but we have videos dating back to 2019, I think, or so, within our playlists of learning nets and meetings. So let me see. Let me find the. It looks like February 3rd, 2021 is when we put the first one on YouTube. So yeah, go always check that out and listen to what we've talked about in the past, and really cool stuff there. All right, this will be the second to last call. Any other last minute comments, questions, check-ins to this evening's net? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Appreciate everyone's patience with the net earlier on. Had some technical issues, but really do appreciate everyone sticking in there. So this will be the last call. Any last minute comments, questions, check-ins for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, more information on our club, w0tx.org. Really do appreciate everyone who, a lot of the volunteer efforts, quite frankly, with our club over the last year, they go unsung heroes. A lot of the volunteers helping out, supporting our club, our website, a lot of different things. We really do appreciate everyone who's been able to help with our tech committee meetings and field day and our roundtable and Hamfest and our membership. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the backgrounds, and it's we really do appreciate all of that support. So if anybody's ever interested in providing any help or learning about more of our club, Denver w0tx.org, you can see under officers, staff, and volunteers, different board members, presidents, and people who help out. So we really do appreciate everyone's help, and everyone's been stepping up this year. We really do appreciate that. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. That's about all that I have for this evening's net. Again, next week we won't be meeting, or we'll be meeting in person at our holiday meeting on the 20th. So no learning net that night. And then there won't be a Sunday night net on the 24th. So not this Sunday, but the Sunday after. So hopefully we'll have a bit of a rest and relaxation, and everyone can take this time to stop and reflect on the year, and we'll make a better year next year for ourselves. So this is K1 DBC Net Control. Very last call. Any last minute comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. All right, with that, this is K1 DBC Net Control. We definitely appreciate the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters. We had a total of 20 check-ins this evening. Thanks to everyone who checked in and acted as an Elmer. Apart from this month, besides December, every third Wednesday of the month is an Elmer session in our meeting, and 6 p.m. and for the Elmer session at 7 p.m. for the meeting online. So with that, our next Learning Net will be the 27th, so a couple weeks from now. So happy holidays to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, and we'll talk to you all soon. 7-3, and I'm clear. All right, everyone. Thank you all, and we'll see you all soon.
Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Come, let us adore him. Come, let us adore him. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Come, let us adore him. Come, let us adore. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Come, let us adore him. Come, let us adore him. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Come, let us adore him. Come, let us adore. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels.
W0T
Come, let us
repeater.
adore him. Come, let us adore. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Come, let us adore him. Come, let us adore. Come, faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Come, let us adore him. Come, let us adore. Come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Come, let us adore him. Come, let us adore.
All right, everyone. Talk to you.